Hi, I'm Tina Ketchy, and I'm here with another tip regarding elder care, hospice care, advanced care planning, grief, long-term care facilities. We talk about all those things. Today I want to talk a little bit about hospice, and it's just so funny how so many people, there's just a whole range of things that people get so confused about, and they don't understand what hospice is, what it isn't. And there's one really kind of neat aspect about hospice that I just want to be sure everybody's clear on. One of the very huge myths out there is you sign up for hospice, that means you need to go die. So go on, you're now with hospice, go die. That's not it at all. When you're appropriate for hospice, that means that the doctor is estimating his best guess, because nobody really knows except the big guy upstairs. The doctor's best guess is end of life is likely within 6 months, and you're no longer seeking curative treatment. Well, you know what? Sometimes that guess isn't a really good guess, and people aren't declining like the doctor thought they were. Maybe they started declining, they were losing weight. There are all kinds of guidelines that they go by to determine if somebody is probably in that last 6 months of life. But maybe that was just a little blip on the screen, and then you bounce back to the point where the doctor says, my goodness, they're doing great. I can't say end of life is likely within 6 months or less, so you're discharged. Your loved one, if they're in that situation, they are discharged. Just like if you go to the hospital because something was going on, let's say you broke your leg, you got to go to the hospital. At some point, you're doing well enough that you get to be discharged, right? And you go home and you live your life. Same thing with hospice. If that guess proves to not hold and things change to where the doctor does not estimate 6 months or less any longer, then you are simply discharged and you go live your life. And down the road, because we're all going to get down the road eventually, when you are in that 6 month or less situation, you can be readmitted to hospice. So I've told this story on a few of these videos, and I'll tell it again. My favorite story to try to drive that message home is there was a woman that came in hospice care at the age of 101. Sure enough, she died at 104. But in that time period, in those 3 years, the hospice that cared for her discharged her 3 times. She kept bouncing back so well that the doctor said, I can't say 6 months or less anymore. And so she was discharged and she lived her life. And then when things started to go south again, well, I think now we're in that 6 month window. She was readmitted to hospice. She bounced back again. And often bounce backs are common because the care hospice provides makes you feel better many times. That's what the palliative part of hospice care is. Palliative and hospice care are all about pain and symptom management. So many times when people come in hospice care, if they can help you feel better by managing your pain and symptoms, you aren't going to have a perk up because you're happy that you're not hurting anymore. But if you really are in that 6 month or less window, that perk up is typically temporary. And then eventually the body will continue to decline. Because again, dying is a part of living. It's just a natural part of our existence on this planet. So the point I wanted to make this week was just because somebody's enrolled in hospice, it doesn't mean, okay, go die. And you got to do it in 2 weeks, by the way. No, it simply means the doctor thinks we're in that 6 month or less window. And now we're just going to see as the weeks and months click by, we're going to watch and see how you do. If indeed you are declining, we're going to be there. The hospice team is going to be there to help with that stage in your life and help keep you comfortable and doing the things you love to do for as long as humanly possible. But as we're caring for you in hospice care, if things look like they're turning around in a significant way to where the doctor no longer thinks, I think we're in a 6 month or less situation, then you may very well be discharged. and you just go live your life. So please, I want you to look at my website and look at that National Hospice ribbon and read what it says. It says it's about how you live. It's about how you live. Every hospice doctor is going to tell you we're not helping people die. We're helping people live until they die. So do not think just because somebody brings up hospice, you got to go die. No, that's not the way it works. And that also speaks to the real issue in the hospice industry where people wait so late. They wait so late. And so if you signed up for hospice and sure enough, death comes in a few weeks, it's more often than not, it's because they waited so late to call us to begin with. And the longer we have with patients and families, the better they do. And actually, on average, a study has confirmed that patients in hospice care live 29 days longer than patients not in hospice care, but would otherwise be appropriate for hospice. So I hope that cleared up that myth for you a little bit more than maybe we've already touched on in the past. I hope you're having a great week, and I will see you next week with another tip. So take care.